Yeehaw! Last chapter. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. Made it all the way through this book since we started in the spring, so I feel pretty accomplished. And some of you have been along the ride with me. So Africa, 1800 to 1980. You know, I found it strange with this chapter that I didn't know any of the artworks. And then I was thinking, you know, I actually did know some of the ancient, you know, before this time period, the earlier works, but not during this period, and I wonder why. I guess because I never did specifically take African art history, but I've taken many. I'm glad I'm finally getting into pretty much every avenue of the world, art history. Okay, here we go. We've got learning objectives. So in case you want to get into any of those, delve a little deeper, you can screen cap. Same with the timeline. You know, it says 1800, but we're going all the way back to 1500 BCE, which I'm kind of glad because, you know, we hadn't really touched Oceania yet. Not Oceania. Let me see. Africa. I mean, yes, we have. So, I don't know. I guess they're just including a really wide era here, which is okay. Alright, here's a map of Africa. And our first artwork, the Ancestral Screen, Nduan Fobara. Calabari Ija from Nigeria, late 19th century, so that's 1800s. The significance of the headdress worn by the central figure in this Calabari ancestral screen is a reference to the deceased chief's successful trading business. Good to know. Okay, this is a reliquary guardian figure called a Bieri. This was made by the Fang people, and I just think that's fascinating. You know, because in European cultures, they also had reliquaries. So I wonder how that news traveled, or if they both just, or if we're just using the European word, you know, and it has the same meaning. Oh, the stylized wooden figures, Bieri, with infantile limbs. Look at the little baby. That looks like little chubby baby arms and legs. And adult musculature made by the Fang people functioned as protection for relic containers. I wish they would tell us what was in it, because I'd love to know that. This is a reliquary guardian figure as well. Ngulu, for the Kota peoples. And it's made of wood, copper, iron, and brass. All very shiny. Sheets of polished copper and brass cover the wooden Ngulu figures made by the Kota, and they were meant to repel evil via the shine of the metal. These reliquary figures helped a nomadic society to honor their loved ones after their death. So I guess the Kota were nomadic. Still going on in the early 20th century. I had no idea. Okay, here is a royal ancestral altar of King Eureka II in the palace in Benin City, Nigeria. So this picture was taken in 1970. The shrine of Eureka II highlights the central focus on reality, an aspect of Benin ancestral worship. The purpose of animal sacrifices made by the Benin king are to invoke the collective strength of his ancestor kings. A component of the royal ancestral shrine of the Benin that represents both the kings and the enduring nature of kingship are copper alloy heads. So it's like, do you see these? And they're holding like an elephant tusk. And boy, they're all carved up too. That's cool. I mean, I'm sad for the elephants, of course, but... Alright, here is a power figure, Nkisi Nkondi, from the Congo. made out of wood, nails, blades, medicinal materials, cowrie shell. Okay, so this is a really important thing. The function of the Nkisi Nkandi is twofold. So if you get a quiz on the, if you get a question on the quiz, because they, usually it's only ever one answer can be the answer, but in this case, there's two answers that are correct. They are used in dance and trance performances by diviners. Okay, now as far as I know, divining is the finder of water, right? That's as far as I know. And they embody spirits to heal and give life. So maybe it's a different meaning in this culture. Like, to take on the divine, like embody spirits. Embody spirits to heal and give life, or to inflict harm, disease, and even death. The large size of this Congo power figure indicates that its exceptional protective abilities were meant to assist an entire community. Congo and Nkisi Nkandi are believed to have the ability to embody spirits that heal and give life. The Congo power figures that a trained priest must consecrate are the Nkisi and Nkandi. So the priest has got to, consecrate them. Okay, here we have a seated couple by the Dogon peoples in Mali, made out of wood. The information art historians can glean from the linked male and female couple figure made by the Dogon people of Mali is gender roles in traditional African society. The figures are formally described as having strong stylization of body parts. The sculpture of the Dogon differs from the sculpture of the Congo in that the Dogon is heavily stylized. I've also heard that these guys might have something to do with astrology, astrological stories. I don't know, that's not on the test. Okay, male and female figures, probably spirits, Asie Usu, from Côte d'Ivoire. This is the Ivory Coast, late 19th or early 20th century. And notice that it sounds like French because they speak French in the Ivory Coast. Waki Sran are people of wood from Bali, Bali people. I don't know why they don't call it Waki Sran here, but they don't. The individuals that interacted with the wooden spirit figures, Ase Usu, created by the Belal of Côte d'Ivoire, are the diviners. Again, hold on, I gotta look that up. Okay, this makes much more sense. Diviners are the agents of unveiling mysteries of human life. As a rule, divination is done as a part of wider functions, especially of medical nature. So, yeah, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. The diviner is gifted by God to find out and discover secrets and unknown things and identifies the root cause of problems. All right, now we know. Okay, Osai Bonsu Akuaba, Akua's child, from the Asante people in Ghana. The aspect of this Asant Akuaba figure represents their standard of idealized beauty through the long, flattened forehead. So if you had a long, flat forehead, that was just gorgeous. So Akan Akuaba figures are consecrated at shrines for young women to carry to ensure the safe delivery of their child. Aww. That's awesome. Okay, this is actually the top of a staff, the linguist staff. So Ose Bansu, this is two men sitting at a table of food from the Asante peoples in Ghana. Wood and gold leaf. This gold-covered wooden staff was an emblem of the office of king. The king's important advisor would carry the Akan linguist staff into a meeting where an individual would be contesting the king's right to rule. So very specific use. I think this is so funny. I shouldn't say it's funny. It's cool. The large ceremonial spoon or ladle, called a dan, from Liberia or Western Ivory Coast, late 19th or early 20th. It's made of wood and plant fiber. I would have guessed that was made of metal, but nope. Dan ceremonial spoons are a reflection of the rice harvest aspect of daily life. The art form that is not an emblem of kingship of the peoples of Africa is a spoon. So this doesn't mean you're a king, it's just part of daily life. But I love that it has legs. Okay, here is the throne and footstool of King Nsengu from the I think that's spelled wrong. I think it's supposed to be the Baum peoples from Cameroon. Wood, textile, glass beads, cowrie shells, oh my gosh. Okay, so the most widely recognized aspect of kingship in Africa is the throne. So, boy, if you had that, you were, everybody knew who you were. The materials that are used for royal artworks among the Baum people, especially on the thrones made for their kings, are colored textiles, glass beads, and shells. Aloe of Ise. Okay, so gosh, this guy is famous. And notice that these are doors from the shrine of the king's head in the royal palace in Yoruba, Nigeria. Don't they remind you of those, the doors, the bronze doors from like the 1400s? Again, I wonder about travel of information there. I'm sure there was. The most famous Yoruba artist of the 20th century is Aloe of Ise. The wood-carved reliefs of Aloe of Ise, that Aloe of Ise featured the characteristic stylized element of high relief figures. Again, right? The event that is depicted on the shrine doors carved by Yoruba sculptor Aloe of Ise is the visit of the British Commissioner in 1897. Cool. Okay, we're going through this fast. This is also made by Aloe of Ise. It's a veranda post from Akure, the Akure peoples, Yoruba, Nigeria, 1920s. So one of the things that's remarkable about Aloe of Ise is that he is one of the few African artists whose name and career have been recorded. This veranda post would have been displayed outside the home in the exterior courtyard. Okay, look at this. Oh my gosh, we're going back to, this is reminding me of the cave paintings, the Paleolithic era, where they're painting a stock raid with cattle, horses, and encampment on a rock. So they're still doing these ancient art forms in the modern time. So I find that fascinating. Again, here is a magical rain animal. Another rock painting from South Africa. Okay, this is Chivinda Ilunga from the Chakwe peoples. They are from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, wooden human hair. Where's the human hair? I don't know. I don't see it. The mythological figure that is the subject of much artwork of the Chakwe people in West Central Africa is Chivinda Ilunga. African figurative sculpture is a mediator between ancestors and the living. It can stand in place of a person who has died. It can reflect knowledge, experience, and identity. It is not concerned with realistic representation. Okay, that's good to know. But isn't that cool that they could just put this guy in place of somebody that they wanted to be there? An ancestor, person who died. That's kind of cool. I like that idea. Okay, this is Akati Akapele Kendo is the artist. This is a warrior figure. They say it's probably Gu from the palace of King Glele. Abomi from the Fon people in the Republic of Benin. Gu is the god of war and iron. King Glele of the Fon people commissioned artist Akadi Akpele Kendo to make this life-sized iron warrior figure, which is thought to be Gu, that god of war and iron. The name of the earliest known African artist is Akati Akpele Kendo. So, first artist recorded is in the 1800s, Okay, Yambe, mother and child, which is known as a Femba, from the Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And lots of materials. The African figural type that is thought to have been inspired by the Christian Madonna and child imagery is Yambe, the Yambe people's Femba. Oh, Yambe, I think, is who this is representing, almost like she's like a goddess, right? Who is there to protect, like Madonna would have. And then, that's obviously sharing of imagery. This is Ala and Amadioha, painted clay sculptures in an Mbari ritual house from Igbo in Nigeria. These people, okay, this has got to be a British guy, right? It has to be. And then, whoever he was hanging out here, this looks like someone, an African person. So I think that is really, really cute. And it's made in 1966. Gosh. Is it paper mache? Painted clay. Okay. Alright, here we have the ancient mother figure of Sanufo from the Ivory Coast, made of wood. The 20-year-long initiation process of the Sunupho people is presided over by the figure of the ancient mother, her. So, wow, 20-year initiation process. Okay, these are Sanufo masqueraders from the Ivory Coast. The rite of passage that is enacted by Sanufo masked dancers at funerals is to expel the deceased from the village. The notion that masks were not allowed to serve as power sources or as oracles does not accurately describe how masks and makers were perceived in African society before the Europeans arrived. Okay, so that's interesting. They were not allowed to serve as power sources or oracles. Okay, so in some other cases we've seen that the mask is like, has power, right? The sun is starting to set, I guess. Yep. Okay, the truths include masks sometimes became so influential that they had their own priests. Maskers would enact a broad range of human, animal, and fantastic otherworldly behavior, and maskers boasted extensive regulatory and judicial powers. But they were not allowed to serve as power sources or oracles. Okay, so that's the part to remember. Okay, this is the beautiful lady dance mask from Sanufo in the Ivory Coast. What's crazy is that women were not permitted to wear the Sanufo beautiful lady mask. So this again takes me back to William Shakespeare. Well, that was in the last chapter, but you know how no women were allowed to be in the plays, Shakespeare plays, and the men always had to play the women too? Here we go again. This is a Satimbe masquerader from the Dogon peoples in Mali. This Dogon mask commemorating a creation legend is named Satimbe, which means sister on the head. I love it. Most figures and masks are visualizations of supernatural forces. In Dogon society, the Satimbe mask represents all women, commemorating the creation legend, which says women were the first ancestors to imitate spirit makers. So women do get some comeuppance. This is a Boom masquerader from Cuba peoples, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Of the 3 masks in Cuba masquerades that tell a story to celebrate royal ancestors, the character who is a commoner and opposes the king's power is Boom, this character right here. The primary purpose of much African art is to venerate ancestors. This is a common person. Okay, Ngedi Amwash mask from the Cuba peoples in Democratic Republic of Congo. Did I just say Congo? No, I said Congo. I meant Congo. On the Cuba mask of the character Ngedi Amwash, the action that is represented by the stripes beneath the eyes are tears of pain from childbirth. Now, girls, don't let that make you afraid. We've got much better methods of childbirth nowadays. The primary function of masks and masqueraders in traditional African culture is to act as mediators between, the person wearing the mask and, the spirit, or whatever the meaning is of that particular mask, I guess. Okay, this is Siwa Headdress from Bamana peoples, from the Bamako region of Mali. And you might not know this, but unless you read the text already, the subject that is depicted in the Bamana mask used in the Siwara ritual is the antelope. So it kind of starts to make sense, this is the head, the neck with like the mane, and the antlers. Okay, this is Dimba mask from Baga peoples in Guinea. It's made of wood and brass. This is a mother of fertility mask, which is what Dimba means the mother of fertility. The size of this mask of the Baga people worn on the body is large enough to rest on the shoulders. So, I don't really get it. Like, your head goes under here, and then you hold this, but, it's basically going to sit on your head. I don't get where your head goes through. And, now I see why it's the mother of fertility. Though this mask was made, worn, and danced by men, it celebrated the role of the women in the community. Great. Okay, so this is the female Sawi mask from the Mende peoples in Sierra Leone. The symbolism of the neck ridges, remember we've seen those before when we were looking at earlier times in Africa. Do you remember the one mask that had all the rolls around the neck? And that was like a status symbol. So the symbolism of the neck ridges on the Mende people female masks represent signs of beauty, prosperity, good health. They are not a sign of athleticism, however, so if you see that on the test. The aspect of Mende masks that is meant to evoke the ancestral female spirits is the glistening black surfaces. So, beautiful shiny skin that those female ancestral spirits would have. The Mende initiation rite for young women is the only known masquerade tradition where the mask wearers are female. I'm so glad that this is supportive of females, right? And this is a photograph made in 1970 of, all these historical, it's like, they're not really historical. They're arts where traditions were carried all the way up through the 20th century. Okay, this is Kente Cloth robes. Aren't they beautiful? These are Asante noblemen. This is Kumasi in Ghana. The material used to make Kente Cloth is cotton. The Kente Cloth method is that it is woven in strips on a loom and then sewn together. Do you see the different patterns? So woven on a loom and then sewn together. Over the course of much of its production, the group who made a Kente cloth are men. So Kente cloth is a very famous textile of African peoples. I just think this is gorgeous. Among the Samburu of northern Kenya, which are these people in this photo, lavish personal adornment, hairstyles, beaded headbands and jewelry, body paint, decorated collars. Those kind of remind me of the decorated collars of, the early Renaissance, the proto-Renaissance. Remember how the ladies wore those, and men too, those big lace collars? But these are gorgeous. This information conveys the wearer's age, marital and initiation status, and royal lineage. So your clothes show, a lot about you. Just like they do today with, people can guess if you are rich or poor by what you're wearing. Okay, there's only a couple additional notes there. And some discussion questions. All right, that's it.